Excuse me, did Reddit just sell my thoughts to Google for their AI? Well, yeah, maybe. So the deal that just happened is that Reddit just got allegedly what's about $60 million a year from Google to use Reddit's data, which is your comments and posts and mine, for helping AI, helping Google train their AI. So this gets into some really interesting places. We're crossing a new chasm here in AI and data rights. Not too long ago, the New York Times sued OpenAI and said, hey, you used New York Times data to train your AI. And the New York OpenAI said, it's public on the internet. We're just using information on the internet. One way to look at it, which is a little crazy but fun, is we keep thinking AI is human-like, and we keep trying to talk about like, oh, maybe it's becoming sentient or these kinds of things. If we're going to think that way, and AI is like a person, then didn't it just read the newspaper and learn, and now it got smarter because it read the newspaper? You can't sue me for reading the New York Times and getting smarter. Now, maybe that's not a good argument. It probably isn't. But it's interesting. How do you think about this? How do we look at this for AI? Are we going to start a licensing scheme where your website has some sort of licensing rules for training AI? So in the case of Reddit, they've sold some of those rights to Google for Google to be able to train their AI on Reddit, which is a pretty big data source. But it turns out you need a lot of data to train in this, an AI or a machine learning algorithm in general, but especially something like the LLM that is ChatGPT, which is a large language model. It's a form of machine learning that is this thing that we see that kind of feels like it's chatting with us and has all this information. They needed a ton of data, and one of the unique things for OpenAI to get it to work that way is that they were able to get so much data. Now, on the other side, I heard someone talking recently that they said one of the things that OpenAI allegedly used was this sort of published group of books. And she said, my book was in that list. It's a book that you can buy, it's for sale. But this list of books is just that someone put out there. They don't have copyright access to do that, but it's out there. And so OpenAI allegedly used that information. So she's like, my brain is in, you're getting ChatGPT answers from me because my books are what it ingested to be able to use that information. And so we'd have a lot less smart AI and ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude and all these different LLMs that are out there right now if they weren't able to use all this information. So on that side, the tech doesn't go as fast. But on the other side, someone created that data. They have some sort of rights to that data. What rights do they have? And those rights vary. Reddit rights are probably different than New York Times rights, or different than a book publisher's rights in varying degrees and ways. So this is one of those things that we still need to solve, is what are you able to use to train machine learning models? What can you use for training data safely that either won't get you sued or that's morally okay to use? These are questions we're still fighting with. But one of the things that's happening now is Google's paying Reddit. So that's a great revenue model for Reddit. They're generating data. Okay, you and I are generating data, but we know if the social media platform is free, we're the product, right? So that's the trade-off. So interesting news with Google agreeing to that $60 million deal. It means they're going to have access that is granted by Reddit to a lot of data to train presumably Gemini or maybe other things at Google out of. So it will be interesting to see where this heads and where all this goes. But data rights are a big part of what we still have to work out in the machine learning space.